Hi everyone, I am Siddharth and I am a startup consultant, a media professional, and an educator. I have some amount of experience in the field of education, and with that experience, I have realized that students who are either in their 12th or in the final year of their graduation are a lot more confused than what we like to believe. It could be because of the lack of understanding or knowledge about the kind of streams they can choose from, or even if the choice is there, what exactly fits them the best, right? The confusion grows further when we talk about MBA, because this is the last leg of their education, and we all want to be absolutely sure the investments are high, uh, the stakes are high in terms of your career. Okay, so the concept of this entire series started with the same thought. It stemmed from the same thought that students should be given an idea about what a professional life in different sectors, different fields look like, and the idea uh, is to talk to different professionals and understand from them how do they spend a day in their professional life, so that you benefit from their experience, so that you take an informed decision. Today, in this episode one of our first season of A Day in the Life, we have Mr. Abhishek Anand. He is a man of charismatic personality, and he is having a very impressive body of work. I'll not talk much about him. I'll let him rather do the talking. So uh, I'll quickly get him on board and let's have this discussion with him. In just a moment, he'll be with us, and I'll try to uh, ask the questions that would be of a lot of help to you guys, uh, and of course a lot of things from the industry that he belongs, right? So we are going to have him on the screen soon. Okay. In the meantime, I like to also tell you a bit about this particular series. We are going to have people from different fields like marketing, finance, HR, and streams that are not really uh, very popular, but are having an impressive ROI. Okay, so just stay tuned with this particular show. I think we have Mr. Abhishek with us. Uh,
Hi, Siddharth.
Hi, Abhishek. We can't see your video.
You cannot. Is it in? I don't know.
Okay, so hi, Abhishek. It's great to have you with us, and I have not given much of your introduction here because I would request you to do the honors there, right? So why don't you tell the viewers about your entire background? What is it that you have done?
Okay. Hi, Siddharth. Should I say good evening, good night, good morning, whatever it is? But yes, it is there. So you call it an honor. I don't know whether it is or not. But I think in my brief thing that you had asked from me, I think that is what
Mhm.
explains me. Uh, Presently, I'm working with an international not-for-profit called Water.org. For people who don't know what water.org is, I would request them to go today and check what water.org is and the kind of wonderful work that we do. In a nutshell, we work globally in providing access the people at the bottom of the pyramid, uh, access to clean drinking water and the dignity of a sanitation asset, right?
Okay.
So yeah, you can call me the Pani and Sandas wala that way. But one interesting thing that you'll find is that one of the co-founders is
Hmm.
no one else than Mr. Matt Damon. Yeah, the Matt
Okay.
Damon.
Okay.
So he and there's an economist, Gary White. So both are co-founders sort of. So I've been working here since the last 3 years and 9 months. I think that's what my LinkedIn profile reads, and this has been the longest. Before that, I've completed MBA. I've completed my MBA from Symbiosis Institute of International Business. That was
Hmm.
way back in 2008. I don't relate much, say, with the masters in business administration that I've done. Why? Because as I told you before also, that though I've studied how to do business, right, how to make profits, but I'm working actually for a not-for-profit.
Hmm.
So that's an
Right.
irony there. And but I feel that's what life is. It's all about ironies. What we do, what we want to do, what we end up doing,
Correct.
what we
Absolutely.
aspire to do. So that journey continues. And before that, I've completed my biotechnology. And by the way,
Okay.
I'm much more biotechnologist today than ever.
Okay. So so let's do one thing. If you can just
Mhm,
take us through your early days, right? Your initial
mhm,
years, and how and what did you do? Like you're talking about being in the field of biotechnology, moving from
mhm.
there to do MBA, and then to this. If you can just take us through this
Mhm.
entire journey, it will be great.
I hope after this you give me a job offer, right? And because you're
a
asking me
lot
to
of
give a job.
people, a lot of people after watching this video would be asking you for the job.
Okay. That will be not a very comfortable place to win, but yet I'll give it a shot.
Hmm.
So yeah, so biotechnology was why because I wanted to do biotechnology. It was never by fluke, right?
Hmm.
I watching a movie Jurassic Park, the first part, right? I think it
Hmm.
still continues to be the best Jurassic Park out there. And uh, it was just one evening after watching the movie, I just asked my dad, Papa, what is DNA? Right? And
Hmm.
till that point of time, father was the encyclopedia of everything, right? Ask him
Okay.
everything and he had an answer to it. For the first time, he didn't have an answer to a DNA. What is DNA? And then he said, Beta, tum jab bade ho na, to padhna, batana kya hota hai DNA. Okay, so that was, I must have been in standard 8 or something around that when I came to know about biotechnology. So I made up my mind, biotechnology karne ka hai, because I
Okay.
really want to see DNA, how could dinosaurs work. So that made me do biotechnology. And I think I enjoyed studying it. Why? Because I really wanted to do it. Right?
Hmm.
To be honest, thought about the present should I say carrot that you put in front of the career choice that you make, that oh, you know what, you do this because you want to get this job.
Correct.
To be honest, I didn't have that. No one also in my family was also pushing me to that, you have to do this and therefore you have to
Hmm.
do a job. So I think that was one thing that my family gave me, the freedom that you
So
can go.
do you think
So
do you think that you are lucky from that perspective? Because a lot of students, a lot of people, they are pushed into doing things that they are either not interested in or have no idea about. Do you consider
I
yourself?
would I would say that yes, luck. I don't believe in per se luck, but I definitely believe in chance. I think these two
Okay.
are very different things. Chance is something that is happening around you. It's a
Hmm.
random world, right? Right?
Hmm.
See one happening. When do you make the most out of it? That's what is called life. So I won't. I will say that I had the chance and I capitalized. Right.
Okay.
I would say that. But yes, I do understand that today's generation is much more laden with that carrot in
Okay.
front of them. In
Correct.
fact, it's a kind of carrot kept in front of them, and that makes them take their own career decision, which I
Hmm.
think yes, I didn't do that. I was not forced to do that.
That's
From
great.
there, I think yeah. Now you'd ask that why did not you do an MSc, why an MBA? That is an oft
I was
repeated
actually
question that
coming
is
to
asked.
that because uh, you yourself know that a lot of engineers, they do MBA, and doctors and army professionals, they all do
Yeah,
MBA. Being in
yeah,
the field of biotech, which you are saying was your own choice,
yes,
and then
yes,
an MBA, how did
yeah.
that shift happen and why? That is
Okay.
the bigger question.
Good question. So there are aspirations, what you want to do, and then there is obviously a reality. So I'm not going to paint a great picture. मैंने ये सोचा, मैंने ये किया. It happens with people, but it never happened with me, right?
Mhm.
So, but as I said, it's life is all about the chances that come across your way and how do you capitalize them, right?
Mhm.
So after BSc, when I thought that yes, okay, now graduation khatam ab kya. So next stage was MSc, right? And I wanted to do genetic engineering, wanted to take up a career in genetics.
Mhm.
But for that to happen, I had to do an MSc,
Okay.
after which I had to do MTech, after which I had to do a PhD. So that
Okay.
gestation period quite long, right? You can see even by today's standards,
Mhm.
it's quite
Mhm.
long. And I would say I was not ready to put in that kind of time and resource into that, right? To
Okay.
be honest, right?
Okay.
And I'm
Okay.
honest with myself. I was very honest with my family as well. So and then I started looking for, okay, so if I don't have to put so much time, into making a career out, into making a living, into getting that quote unquote success that people keep on talking about, what are my available options, right?
Right.
To be honest, you see, I was not much more enthusiastic by it. Not that I'm not saying that it's not a great, but yeah, it was a personal thing. I didn't want to take up so much of studies. Uh, then there was this MBA thing that everyone was talking about, right? What is MBA? So
Mhm.
I really wanted to study MBA. I sat across a seminar, someone was conducting a seminar, and then she said, this is what MBA. So what intrigued me was not money, actually,
Okay.
right? That
Okay.
that comes the golden pot at the end of the rainbow.
Mhm.
It was kind of challenges that come across your way. It was the kind of problems that you get to solve, right? It
Mhm.
was the kind of people that you get to work with. So that was the real intrigue which made me take the bait of MBA, right? And to be honest, there was no one to guide me. I had also not thought about those three idiot dialogues like तुम तरक्की काम something के पीछे भागो पैसा तुम्हारे हाथ
Excellence के
में,
पीछे
something.
हाँ हाँ हाँ.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. So Three Idiots was still a couple of years away from when I was doing
Mhm.
that. But I believe that okay, fine. If you're doing the work that you like, if you're solving problems that people find it difficult to solve, if you're
Correct.
working with good people, there's no other way that you will not achieve success. So
Mhm.
that transpired the journey towards an MBA. Post MBA, it has been quite a ride, I would say, till date that I'm working here. So yeah, in short, this is my journey.
Okay. So when we talk about you getting intrigued in MBA, I
Mhm.
believe that is the thing with almost all who take up CAT, right?
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
reason for that them getting intrigued are is different. For you, it was a
Mhm.
different thing. For people, it is money, etc. Uh, but how did you find out what exactly MBA would provide to you? How did that happen, or you just also went ahead with the way rest of the students did?
No, unfortunately, I was not I would say that 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 bit a risk taker that I would just go just like today's students go and take
Hmm.
it up. I actually went to talk to a lot of seniors, right?
Okay.
A couple of my college days, a couple of people whom I had known that okay, so if this is my hypothesis, if this is what I believe, right, to
Hmm.
be true,
Hmm.
let me tell you, right? In fact, this is what we also study in apparently in your applied marketing research in MBA, hypothesis testing. So
Hmm. Correct.
without knowing what hypothesis was, I had this belief and I checked it. I went ahead and had lengthy discussions with people around me.
Okay.
And then I got to know, okay, this is what you study, this is what you do. Okay, what are the
Okay.
pitfalls? Okay, so everyone talks about great things. What happens? Then people talked about the grind that you are put into it, right?
Hmm.
Into it, the that you have to get into and be ready for that. So that Abhishek, 3 saal graduation, okay, you did it like this, but this won't happen that easy. So I said,
Huh.
okay. So
Hmm.
I was pretty prepared. I was pretty much aware about what to expect into a B
Okay.
school when I went into the B school.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
no, it's
So
not that
now,
big a risk taker that I just went. Yeah, sorry.
uh, but now a bigger question comes. Fine, you now
Mm-hmm.
decided that MBA करने का अपने को. Two
Mm-hmm.
questions. One, किस में MBA करना है, right?
Mm-hmm.
The popular choices are finance, marketing, HR, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and the college. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I, with my own experience, believe that stream is more important than the college, than the choice of your college. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but people have got different perspectives. So, what is it that you uh, did to find out which field? and the choice of
Mm-hmm.
your college, some biases? How did these two things happen?
So I would say two things here. Well, different strokes for different folks, right? So,
Correct.
for example, you believe that a stream is important, not the college, and therefore you prepare accordingly. Uh, but to be honest, if you do a random assessment and get to know that how many people are actually aware after 3 years or 4 years of their graduation that
Hmm.
this is what finance or this is what marketing stands for, this is what HR
Absolutely.
stands for, this is what nutrition stands for, right? You don't know, and therefore I would say, so typically, and therefore MBA should not be encouraged for any fresher, right? So when I'm saying that I myself was a fresher when I went in, but I now
Hmm.
realize there were a couple of who had work experience under their belt. They understood things better,
True.
right?
True.
While I had theoretical the theoretical concepts in front of me, they could see that,
True.
"Arey yaar, maine ye dekha tha, isme ye hota tha. I've seen this software work
Hmm.
that." So
Hmm.
what stream for me, I chose the stream of agribusiness management. Why? Because it had its roots into what I studied. I had studied biotechnology,
Okay.
and agribusiness management was all about how do you take the food products, right? Anything that you
Hmm.
eat, consume from the farm to the plate, right? That
Correct.
entire
Correct.
journey that that particular food product carries. You study that, right? How do you do that? So in fact, this is the market face of what biotechnology does, to
Correct.
be honest. So biotechnology
Correct.
prepares you for that. So and then agribusiness just takes it ahead. How do you sell what you have made out of biotechnology?
True.
Right?
True.
So for me, I had that connect in front of me,
Hmm.
and therefore agribusiness. During those times, I think IML had not started its agribusiness then. Only IMA had, and SIIP had. I think Pumba, that is Pune University
Hmm.
MBA had.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, I could not clear the entrance for, sorry, the interviews for Ahmedabad.
Hmm.
Simbi happened. And yeah, I was game. It was game for me. I was game for it.
Okay.
It was much. If you ask me today, would I have chosen IIM Ahmedabad? Definitely, I would have. Right. But then
Correct.
again, for me, what I want to do was more important rather than from where I do it.
From where exactly? Correct. Correct. That is one thing that the students who would be listening to this should understand. You know, good
Oh yeah,
point.
absolutely.
Okay. So when you talk about MBA now, since now you are
Mm.
in the college, how did
Yeah.
the life change? Because uh, like I have done my MBA, and almost all the people who I have spoken to, who are
Mm-hmm.
MBAs, life takes a sudden turn.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can just talk about your 2 years in the
Mm-hmm.
MBA college, how did these 2 years go by?
One word won't suffice it. I was trying to sum it up in one word, but it was pressure, rigor, and late nights. That's it. So these three things combined day in day out,
Okay.
right? Day in day out. It is immaterial whether you have slept or not, whether you have eaten or not.
Hmm.
If you have assignment to be completed and submitted on the D day, that is 11:59 p.m. It has to be
Hmm.
bloody there. It's not there, you just lose it. There is no there's no one who will come and console you that, oh baby, don't worry, it happens, next time you do it. There's no next time, right?
Correct. True.
There's no next time. So what you learn is probably then you'll curse yourself many a time that why am I doing this, right?
True.
Why
Correct.
is he
Yeah.
so inhuman, right? Why is he treating me like this? The thing
Hmm.
is that me, these 2 years in your B school is the last, uh, I would say, the last in that entire journey of the long journey of your professional life, when you will have some sort of shade over you, right? Wherein
True.
there are people there who will be there, who will help you, collaborate with you to tide over the crisis. But what it prepares you is for the real grind that you will be facing,
Hmm.
right? Understand of it, basic dynamics. This time you're paying to a B school, right,
Hmm.
to learn, right?
Correct.
So yes, you're still slogging it off, right? Next time in the rest of your career, you will be paid for that, and you will still be slogging off. So I would say, therefore,
Correct.
this is only the time when you are actually paying for yourself to be punished, rather. So I would say rather enjoy it, right? Rather than cribbing about, complaining about it. Understand that this is for your own good. That's it. Just close your eye, believe in your destiny, keep on doing your work. That's it.
Cool. So you have summarized it in some very few words there. Otherwise, 2 years is quite difficult to actually explain because day in day out the struggle and then the failure and then
Yes.
the will to be there again.
Yeah, and there's also this race that comes up. मेरा summers यहाँ लगेगा या नहीं, मेरा finals वहाँ लगेगा कि नहीं. That thing is there. I won't say that I didn't go through those tribulations, but to be honest, I would say since again. So, for example, Hypercity, which is a subsidiary of Shoppers Stop,
Hmm.
uh, it was starting then in India, right? It was for one of its kind of a thing in India. Mumbai Malad, that's where the first store had come out.
Hmm.
India had not such a huge, I think it was then, if my memory serves me correct, it was around 70, 80,000 square feet of pure retail, right?
True. True.
India was not seen. And I was interested into retail. Why? Because again, biotechnology, yes, you studied agribusiness, but then again, that there is also a change that happens when you study a lot. And then retail excited me. So, okay, nahi, mere ko summers either karna hai, right?
Hmm.
And now I didn't care about what is the stipend I'm getting,
Correct.
right? Of
Correct.
course, that's the stipend. मेरे को इतना stipend मेरे को इतना मिला मेरे को. That is always there. But then again, end of the day, what is that? Those 2 or 3 months, if you don't learn anything and you just earn, what good is it,
True.
right? Because that's the only time when you get to test what you have learned in the theoretical world into the practical world. Apply that and
Hmm.
learn it.
Hmm. Hmm.
I went to Hypercity. It was the first company that I cleared, so I got in. So I didn't have to go through
Correct.
that thing. So I got a PPO, but didn't join. Similarly for the finals, again,
Hmm.
I think I wanted to do something else different. I joined a microfinance company. It was then called SKS Microfinance.
Hmm.
It was the poster boy of Indian microfinance story. It got rechristened as Bharat Finance Inclusion, and now it has been bought by IndusInd. So I had
Hmm.
joined them because no one had heard about microfinance. So I just
Okay.
wanted to keep on experimenting, keep on doing new things. That also was a day zero company at that year, so got through. So I, honestly, if you ask me, have I gone through that pressure of either job lagega, kitne ka job lagega? No, I have not gone through that. Why? Because I had this absolute clarity that I'm doing this either because I want to do it, or I know it's something different, something new, and therefore I want to do it. Money, it would eventually come up, and it has come
So,
up.
so Abhishek, what would you like to suggest to the students?
Mhm,
Like you had that clarity, but many they don't have. Even
mhm,
when they sit for their interviews or while they would be preparing for their CAT right now,
mhm,
they are preparing for the CAT very good. But which college,
mhm,
which stream, completely clueless. How
mhm.
to figure that out?
Good question. So one thing, if you don't have clarity, have Sprite, right? You'll get everything clear. And I'm not promoting Sprite. I don't promote soft drinks. But to be honest, there is much more information available today, right?
Hmm.
At your disposal. You got a Google. When was it? I think the first time I keyed in Google was the year of 2006. If I remember it correct.
Hmm.
2006. So, but then again, I didn't know how to use Google, right? What do you ask? How do you ask, right? I used to think that if I ask this, will it be a stupid question, right?
Hmm.
Eh, that kind of. But today, you don't have to think. You just need to know what stream to choose. That is okay. So, what you do, I would say, do your own secondary research, right?
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
in apply marketing research, you will study what is secondary research, what is primary research. Do the secondary research, right? Make your own notes. Okay, this is what marketing is. This is the kind of the work that a marketeer does. This is what
Hmm.
investment banking is drawn by. Oh, investment banking, $1 million salaries. Oh,
Correct.
they buy your. Don't get flown by that, right? It is, it's just a minuscule proportion percentage of people who actually end up
Are
having that kind of a lifestyle.
correct.
Right? It's not that it is average. It's not the mean, right?
Hmm.
So and once you have done that, right, talk to people who have gone through the grind, right?
Hmm.
Talk to people
Hmm.
who have completed their MBA, have had some years of experience under the belt, and then test these hypotheses, whatever you've learned, right? If this is what I've learned, this is what, and then check whether your understanding is right or not.
Correct.
And I would say then make up your mind that okay, this is what I want to do. Why? Because I have, it is not a whimsical decision. There
Correct.
is a lot of research that has gone into my decision. Now you might falter, you might succeed, but then again, it's just chance. Take it, I would say.
Good insight. Good insight there. So now we'll move beyond MBA. So you are an MBA
Mm-hmm.
now, and
Mm-hmm.
before we just move to that real world, what change
Mm-hmm.
in your personality did you see? Like I have uh, been asked by a lot of students, uh,
Mhm.
they said that I want to do an MBA because मेरी personality improve हो जाएगी. So these are the lot of
Seriously,
misconceptions that
give
students
that
have.
guy a cookie. Give that guy a cookie.
But otherwise,
That is.
like with the learning, with the grind, what would you
Mhm.
say a change that came, like if I talk about 3 points that change in your personality, what would those be?
It's a difficult question personally for me to answer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but I don't. So I know you're talking about a day in life of Abhishek Anand. Therefore, Abhishek Anand has to give his answer.
Mm-hmm.
My answer should be taken as a what I'm going to say as a blueprint, right? It is not, because for me, honestly, uh, whatever I had to be, right? I think those 3 years of graduation made me that,
Okay.
right? And it is this is just very personal to me. That is it, right? Nothing else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, so that thing happening to me from my own eyes, no, I've not seen that happen, right? Why? Because
Okay.
people who have met me in graduation, who know me since the graduation days, they say that, yeah, you haven't changed at all, right?
Okay.
You were like this, this is how you used to deal with things then, right? Probably thoda sa jargon jaan gaya hai, right? But that's it, right? That's what the difference they see me. So
So
my way
let me
of
just
tackling things,
rephrase it. Sorry to cut you in. Let
yeah.
me just
Mhm.
rephrase it. What changes did you see in the people who joined with you in the first year
That's
of
a better question. I can answer that.
easy to
Yes, and
answer?
I was actually I was about to come to that. So I
Mm-hmm.
would say, so in my so my roommate, there was un Ritesh. I know Ritesh. I'm using a name if you see it sometime, but then again, I'm going only to talk good things about you. So Ritesh Kumar Singh. So he's a guy. He's a dude from Agra. He was my roomie, right? A roommate, and he had got that what do we call that? Mm, Mother tongue influence, MTI, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So he had that heavily accentualized UP Agra
Okay.
wala language, right? So, and he was always worried about, uh, मेरा यहाँ हो तो गया है, मेरा कहीं होगा नहीं, ठीक है?
Okay.
ऐसे, यहाँ आके वहाँ पे जाएगा. So that was, so this guy who was always worried, right? What is going to happen? What is going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
During the finals, the companies came, so, and then he sat and he was like totally flabbergasted. अभी क्या करना है, Abhishek? I
Mm-hmm.
said, do one thing. You know what you want to say, right? He said, yeah. Be bold. If you think that this is the only obstacle that is coming in front of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you can speak proper English. Say that, sir, I know all the answers. I can answer it, but I can only answer with freedom, with confidence, only when I converse in Hindi. And I think
Okay.
because I'm sitting for a finance company, I have to talk to my clients in Hindi. And I said that don't worry. In whatever happens, if you think that you'll speak English and you will get through, you won't, right? If you say
Correct.
this, you still won't
Correct.
get. If there is a chance for your confidence that can take you ahead, and then they end up asking questions and you are able to convince them, for go ahead. I think that was a tipping point for him. That shy, a confused person, right, who was always concerned about his MTI, right,
Mm-hmm.
his oratory. He was a different person immediately after the final interview, right? Irrespective, he
Okay.
said that whether I get a call or not, it's not important. But now I know that I can speak, I can convince people, right? That
Correct.
guy today has traveled a lot in his professional career. I think he's the zonal head of a microfinance, fairly large microfinance company somewhere in East. Today, if you talk
Okay.
to him, he has got that clarity of thought, right? He knows why my business is behaving this way, and he knows the perfect levers, the perfect levers to pull, the perfect buttons
Mm-hmm.
to press, when to hire, when not to hire. He does all of that, right? And he does with a lot of confidence that, yes, I've done my MBA, I've been through the grind, right? I
Mm-hmm.
came out as a winner in the placement process, and therefore I can have that rub-on effect on in subsequently whatever I do in my life, right? So it's just
Correct.
like success is contagious, right? One small thing leads to a bigger, so it just snowballs,
Correct.
right? So
Absolutely.
yeah, that's the kind of change that I saw in him. For people, there were others who were indecisive, right? I've seen that, right?
Okay.
Karna hai ki nahi karna hai. There are a lot many people who the first semester, so they're indecisive,
Mm-hmm.
totally indecisive. Ye karna hai ki nahi karna, karna hai ki nahi. And then gradually they realize whether or not you are able to decide you have to do this or not.
You have to
There is
go
such a
into it.
behind, right? You just end up doing, and then you just cope up with whatever happens, the repercussions that are. So that makes people accept in life. That brings in that of acceptance in life, that hey, you know what, you have to accept what happens in life with your chin up, right, not your chin down.
Correct.
Yeah, so primarily these two kind of changes that I have seen in people who are there in the
Okay.
school.
Great. Great. So uh, now we'll talk about your uh, work that you started doing after your
Mhm.
MBA. Please talk about how did you reach water.org? Like in 2008 MBA,
Yeah.
to
Hmm.
2020, 3 years, 9 months with water.org. What all happened in
Yeah.
between, and how did you make the shifts? Because that is something which is really important for the students, uh, because
Hmm.
they might not be having the clarity, or even if they have the clarity, they do not have the idea as to ठीक है मैंने पढ़ लिया मार्केटिंग में क्या होता है फाइनेंस में क्या होता है बट मैं
Yeah.
जब करने
Yeah.
जाऊंगा तो
Hmm.
मेरा काम रहेगा क्या राइट so if you can just
Hmm.
take us through this fun journey that you would have had.
It is actually fun, right? And then again, I'm giving this disclaimer that this should be no one's blueprint. This should no one's blueprint. So using it for the sake of fun. But the thing is that, someone's tragedy is someone else's joke, right? So that
I'll say it
has
would be more
happened
of an
with me.
inspiration for the others.
If it is so, but in this entire journey that I've had I think April 9th I completed 12 years. At April
Mhm.
9th I completed 12 years of my professional life. Uh, I think the first job that you have, anyone has, is the crucial one, right?
Okay.
I think it decides, sort of decides, yeah. Most of it decides, what is going to be a trajectory, what are
Okay.
you going to achieve, what are you going to not achieve in this life.
Okay.
And by that definition, your first boss is also important, right? Because that's it. When you are just a greenhorn, right?
Mhm.
The army has got a camp, and when the new recruits come, you're just a greenhorn, right?
Mhm.
Yes, you have studied everything here out of that, but then again, you have to be hard. You have to get hardened, battle hardened, and therefore your first job throws up challenges that you just did not know they exist, right? It just opens up a different dimension, right?
Correct.
It's a new dimension in front of you. Oh, what is this? Well, I had never figured it out, and that is where your first job, your first boss helps you do
Okay.
that a lot. Understand what is doable, what is not doable. Not every fight is is worth taking. Understand that if someone howls at you, someone shouts at you, someone raises his or her pitch while talking to you,
Mhm.
it's perfectly, it is never personal, it's always professional, right? If you have missed a deadline, you should never do, by the way, that's what your BP taught you. But if you do, it's okay, it's never the end of the world. Okay.
Mhm.
And then emergencies, sudden unannounced problems that again they just come from a different portal, they just transport
Mhm.
them from some from I don't know where, right? Because so in a B school, you're never taught what do you do when Naxalites go and kidnap your staff, your field staff. Well, I had to go and
Okay.
deal with it. That was my birthday, right?
How did this
Uh,
come
uh,
in the professional life you're talking about?
because so in microfinance, what happens is that you deliver financial service to the doorsteps of the poor. So I was
Okay.
handling these state of Ranchi, sorry, not Ranchi, the state of Jharkhand, right? And I was
With SKS Microfinance, right? That was your first job.
SKS Microfinance, yes, SKS Microfinance. And one of my branches was there near, if you don't, I know you might not have heard about that place called Chakulia or Musabani, Ghatshila. So these are
Okay.
south of Jamshedpur, where XLRI is.
Mhm.
That's where I think the last good things that you see in life or where you would like to go is there. That's where it ends, right? It's a different
Okay.
world out there. So and those areas are Naxalite infested areas. So as such, while they were working out there, I clearly told them that you have to not expand the portfolio there. So you have to take these kind of
Mhm.
decisions. Like, okay, I don't want my portfolio to go in that area
Okay.
because it is not a safe. So while they were reducing the portfolio gradually, cajoling them, giving them reasons, one fine day they realized it. No, boss, they are not giving money. We have to do something. So they were kidnapped, and they said, "Bula
Okay.
apne boss ko." The last such thing that was happened was in school and graduation days. That "Bula apne bhai ko," right? But you could fight them, but this time it's a different. As I told you, this is a problem from a different dimension, right?
Hmm.
So how do you work it out? Then you start learning, pulling out the tricks of your team spirit, right? That you got a team. you're a leader, you also have to showcase your skills. It doesn't mean that you pick up a gun and go and shoot the Naxalites. No, you're not going to do that. But you at least you don't lose your calm, right?
Hmm.
If you lose the calm, the entire team is gone, right? They will also lose the calm faster than you, right?
Correct.
And
Correct.
then inform the concerned people that how it has to be done, and then prepare a strategy with the team.
I believe
It might
you learned your leadership skills quite early in your career.
It was, yes. I would say that, yes, and that's what I said. The first job and the first boss, most important part, and that also gave me the confidence that boss मैं कुछ भी कर सकता है, a professional life में कुछ कर सकता है. I don't know whether it was naive for me to think of that, but 2 years into the job, I thought starting something of my own, right? That
Okay.
startup itch was there back in 2000, 2008, 2010. That was the first job. 2010 when Flipkart was still selling, I think, speakers and books. That's what at the max getting at Flipkart. Amazon was still donkey years away from Indian shores. I think
Correct.
eBay was there functioning. Yeah, Jungli or something like that. Yeah, I wanted to start, so I was interviewed by a big corporate. I will not be naming them. You know them. That I had to start a microfinance for them. So they gave me sweat equity, and they said, okay, start a microfinance company from scratch. This was wonderful. No one had ever done that in those years. Being an entrepreneur was okay. You mean to say that it's an, if you imagine you go to 1950 and say that, you know what, people will one day go to the moon,
Yeah.
right? So it was something like that in
Correct.
way back in 2000, when entrepreneurship was not such a buzzword. Not You
Correct.
could not see
Correct.
it permeating
Correct.
everywhere. Started it, and then again, as destiny would have had it, there was a crisis somewhere in Andhra Pradesh. It spiraled into something big, and we were just about to start up. We just bombed. I lost my shirt in the market. But then again, this is where your first job and your first boss kicks in. Right? You knew that, okay, you have been here, something similar before. This is something different, still something very similar. What do you do next? Okay, I said, okay, pick yourself up. And by the way, those were also the aftermath, the years after the aftermath of 2008 financial crisis. Like
US
something that
market.
something similar we are seeing right now because of COVID.
Correct.
And then that is when I asked myself, what do I want to do, right? Why? Because in the open market, any CV was worth trash, no matter from where you have studied. Right? There were no jobs. Even for the same job, same kind of job, you're getting paid quite less. And then I thought, what else can I do? Remember that thing? What do I want to do? What excites me? What is
Correct.
new that I want to do?
Correct.
That is there. That's always there. So once you look inside, you feel that, acha, chal, sochte hain. And that is what brought me to the world of teaching, the world of
Okay.
mentoring students. So that is my journey with test prep began, right? I thought that maybe I'm not a good teacher, but I'm a good problem solver. I can see problems from the point of the people who face it. So yeah, that brought me to the test prep world. I started taking classes in verbal ability. Also started handling business operations for I think, yeah, right now in Delhi, I'm in Ranchi right now. But yes, having worked in CP happens to be the hub of all such MBA test prep institutions, right? Worked with the fairly larger ones. I'm not again taking names, but yes, I've worked with them. Handle their business operations, handle their academic sessions and all that, and it was, wow, what a ride. Why? Because suddenly MBA, biotechnology, microfinance, and wow, there's something else that I discovered that I can teach. Right? I can solve problems more than teach. I can solve problems
So
for
the
people.
learning kept on happening.
Yes, absolutely. It is important, isn't it? Because else you will just become static. If you just keep on standing, the
Correct.
world will move and you'll stay.
Okay. So Abhishek, from
Yeah.
the test prep market, moving to
Mm-hmm.
the I would say development sector,
Mm-hmm.
water.org, right? That's a different jump altogether. Uh,
Yeah.
did this happen? Water.org, did it happen by chance, as you like to say, or it was a conscious decision uh, that you took?
Why are you just after me asking all those questions that that I won't say they are difficult, but people should be influenced with it, right?
But
I
then
am saying that I'm not.
people do take inspiration, because as you rightly said, someone else's problems becomes an inspiration for somebody else. At least
Mhm.
in the sense, यार ये तो नहीं मैं नहीं करूंगा अपने साथ या ये मैं होने नहीं दूंगा अपने
Perfect.
साथ.
Yeah, maybe you can learn from my failures. I think, yeah, that is better. So you should actually not do what I've done, right? If you really want to know what not to do, this is what follow this. So from there. I again got a chance to start up, right? This time it was a rural e-commerce thing, right? That was
Okay.
again something that was still way ahead of its times.
Mm-hmm.
With the same concept group, I started launching it, but then again there was some promoter-led issue, something that
Mm-hmm.
people talk about now, that Flipkart got to know, right?
Mm-hmm.
How it transpired, and that kind of a tussle happened, and I walked out of the startup world again. And this time again, I thought, what ab kya naya karega? So it's like bring up
Mm-hmm.
what's next, right? What's next
Correct.
show? So this time I wanted to change the state that I was staying. I was
Okay.
working in Delhi. I wanted to say, "अरे, मेरा भाई लोग उधर बॉम्बे में उधर सब क्या कर रहे हैं उधर जाते हैं," right?
Mm-hmm.
And then where you one of the hidden benefits of MBA, right? One of the hidden benefits of MBA is is the fantastic pool of alumni that you get connected to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not for just for the heck of joining that the
Networking,
alum
as
base.
you said.
I
Network.
didn't use that word deliberately. Just
I'm just putting
you
it
don't you
in
don't
quotes.
network. Yeah, if that suffices for what it is. But no, I was not there for networking. But yes,
Mm-hmm.
that is a term you're used. But I was not there to network. It is just that
Mm-hmm.
you made friends, you made relationships. I was not there networking, and that is when I just called up one of my seniors. Bhaiya, udhar job hai kya? Hana. That's it.
Hmm.
That's it. Aja. So you go there, and that the better the B school, the better the alumni can connect, and the better
Correct.
chances of you getting pulled out of the choppy waters are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how that pyramid works. So for me, it worked, right? And the better the B school, it will work faster than that, right?
Correct.
And I went to Mumbai. I joined SDFC Life. I was handling. I was sitting in the head office of SDFC Life, Lower Parel, and life was different. 5 6 months I did that gig there, handling all the small finance banks. They were just about to open then in that year,
Mm-hmm.
handling all those key businesses for HDFC Life across India. And it was fun, but no, I was not enjoying it. Why? Because
Okay.
maybe the place was not good. And Mumbai is somewhere where you adapt. If you join early, if you go late, it's too late, right? So I said, sorry, I came back to my place. I again joined. So again, your alum base out of your B school also, right? The kind of relationship that you build in companies and organizations that you work, that
Correct.
again helps you.
Correct.
And therefore, I would say, again, I don't know. I've never networked with people. Actually, I'm a lousy networker, but I'm a great relationship builder, right?
Correct.
So those relationships that I built, I called up again, sir, बोलना अभिषेक सर वापस आना चाह रहा हूँ झारखंड कुछ है क्या उधर हाँ आना that's
Mm-hmm.
it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he is also a B school graduate from different school, but in professional world also you have created your linkages. So I get there. I was handling doing amazing work here from Ranchi, greenery everywhere, riding on the highway 22 kilometers from my place. It was amazing
Mm-hmm.
fun. 6 months, and I was enjoying it. I just wanted my life to be there. That's when this interview came. There's this opportunity. Someone said that what. Someone again in my B school group said that Abhishek ये कर सकेगा because that job had come to him. He said
Okay.
मुझे नहीं लगता मैं
Okay.
कर पाऊंगा Abhishek. So again, it was not networking. He's a great friend of mine, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think he knows my nature that I don't last. My half life is quite short, right? Into organizing. Every 1 year he comes, Abhishek, ये job करेगा? I said, I'm happy here. So that's when I got to. I think what brought me to Water.org was not the lure of development sector per se, nothing like that,
Okay.
but it was
Okay.
something new. It was again that itch to do something new, right?
Okay.
At a new place, a newer challenge, not getting settled. I know, never settled, never settled. What is that? It's a brand, right? Oh, what is that? One
Never
Plus.
settled. Never settled. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a mantra that brought me to Water.org, wherein you marry microfinance
Mm-hmm.
with the genuine problems that we can't even fathom of, right? You right now, if you want to take a loo break, you can go to the toilet and you can have it. Imagine
Mm-hmm.
at this hour, there's a woman in the house who wants to go out to relieve herself. She doesn't have the access, the dignity of a toilet. What does she do,
True.
right? So yeah, that was the world. That was a problem that again I thought I could solve
Mm-hmm.
if given an opportunity. So here it was, Water.org, since the last 3 years and 9 months, solving, making people
Great.
do better.
Okay. So now coming to what.org, uh,
Yeah.
how does a typical day in the life of a
Mhm.
senior project manager? So first of all, please talk about what exactly does this job entails, like senior project manager. What is it that you do, and how do you do it? Simple.
Okay, good question. I think So I'm the iklota project manager in the entire organization, right?
Okay.
At least in the India office, I'm the iklota. I don't think so. They're in Indonesia also. No, not that. The US office has got a couple of them, but
Okay.
I'm a rare breed, right?
That's
When the
that's a
initial office,
privilege. That's a privilege, or that's something which should be taken with.
I think it's no, it should not be taken with a pinch of salt. Anything, I think it's privilege to myself
Okay.
by me, given to me. I was actually offered a profile of a program manager.
Okay.
A program manager. There are established programs which are built. So it's more like a relationship manager, right? You handle such
Okay.
relationships, and take care of what are the aspirations of the donor, how is this particular organization doing, and then you handle day-to-day activity. So you just have to rudder the ship, that kind of
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Stable. Look for that kind of आराम से कुर्सी पे बैठा कर रहा है काम फील्ड पे गया थोड़ा ऑडिट वॉडिट करके आया वापस आया. So while being interviewed, I think my hiring manager, who was the executive director, he offered me during the interview. He said, Abhishek, I have got another offer for you, another profile. Can I call you back in probably after 1 or 2 days? So I said, okay, fine. I didn't lose heart. Why? Because I was enjoying my life
Hmm.
here in
Hmm.
Kochi.
Hmm.
I said, okay, fine. Then he said, Abhishek, there is something called a project manager. I said, what is the difference? He said, out here you have to try new things, right? There is nothing established.
Okay.
There is no structure in place, but you have to build that structure. I said, voila, this is it. I know I'm going to stick here, right? Why? Because stability, honestly, personally for me, it drags me out of my
Okay.
life's uses. I just get bored. I quit because I get bored, right? I'm
Hmm.
a quick learner. I know within 6 or 7 months you get to know the tricks, the nuts and bolts of the work. But then after that, you just start taking ये से कब छोड़ना है यार यहाँ पे. Find a reason. क्या करना है निकल जाना है इधर से. But this is what brought me to Water Talk. The project manager, as a project manager, I said I do moonshot projects. For example, with Water.org, the normal way of work is that there is an existing microfinance company. Okay? There is a donor sitting there in US or
Hmm.
any part of the world.
What do you mean by
So let's
donor?
say donor
Exactly.
is a large organization. Is a large
Okay.
organization which puts in money for development work. This is not your CSR. This is
Okay.
not your CSR. So large organization. So one of the accounts that I was handling when I came in was IKEA. Right, IKEA, we
Okay.
know that manufacture
Yes.
the furniture. They just opened up in Hyderabad, not just, but yeah, in India they opened up in Hyderabad.
Hmm. Hmm.
So IKEA is a fair company. So they put in money and they wanted to see development happening in Bangladesh and India in the sphere of water and sanitation, right? So
Okay.
why? Because it is their virtue that they want to give back to the society, right?
Okay.
So one of the project that I am personally handling. So these are called grants. When a company,
Correct.
when
Correct.
such donor makes, it's called a grant. So I'm handling a grant in India from Reckitt Benckiser, RB,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
The so RB wants that, okay, I want so many people. So their project manager will always say that I need so many people positively impacted by the kind of program that you are doing, and I'm willing to put in money for that,
Okay.
right? I
Okay.
know this sounds bizarre because we Indians are not great at giving, right? But people out there are, right?
Hmm.
Say Gap, Gap, the apparel company, right? So they bring Zara, which
Okay.
is Inditex, which is owned by Inditex. So all these organizations, right? PepsiCo,
Okay.
we just had a owner from Amazon, right? So all these companies want to do further work. They want to work further beyond what they're doing, and they wish to
Hmm.
give back to the society. How do they give back? They need people who know that kind of work, who know their
Okay.
market, who know their market, and also have the knack of solving problems that they are. And these
Hmm.
guys standing behind you, they will put the money that is required to serve such clients. So
Okay.
that is what
So how do you
primarily this.
measure? How do you measure? I'll not call it as ROI, but the impact in such kind of
Good question.
work,
Fantastic.
because there are a lot of students who want to get into tests, or other such colleges that do offer such courses, which enables them to join a sector like this.
Mhm.
So one big question is, how do you measure that impact?
Fantastic. I think measuring impact is a separate vertical in the sector of the development world. In fact, tomorrow is a deadline. I have to go and work on a report, the quarterly report that I have to send back to RB, stating that this is how it has happened. So impact is measured in many a way. Uh, at Water.org for the kind of work that we do. So impact is primarily measured into how many people
Mm-hmm.
took a small loan to build their sanitation asset or
Okay.
to take a pipe connection, right? So it's total number of people that you can, by that virtue, how many families are impacted? Because let's say one family takes a loan, it means on an average 4.8 people get impacted. Why? Because you
Correct.
multiply that with a factor of,
True.
so for us, the factor is 4.8,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that is the amount of people that we are positively impacted.
Okay.
Now, you would realize that the impact of water and sanitation in anyone's life is just not quenching your thirst or relieving yourself in the loo.
Correct.
It
Correct.
keeps healthier, right? So health, there are health benefits. So there will be monitoring agencies, third party monitoring agencies will go and talk to those people and say,
Mm-hmm.
so you have taken this facility, how has it impacted? What was your health standard before? Or how's your health standard? So this is impact, right? Very well put. There is no for profit, there is no ROI, but this is the impact that you create. In fact,
Correct.
the top positions in development sectors are chief impact officer, right? People who
Yes.
bring in impact,
Correct.
right? So that's where you might have a so-called CEO, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the real man drives the business is the chief impact officer who keeps on working and thinking that what is the next thing, next challenge that I solve so that I'm able to
Mm-hmm.
bring in an impact.
Okay.
That's how it
Great.
works.
Great. That is correctly put. So now I believe you as an organization and as a project manager also have to
Mhm.
deal with the people or the companies that give you grant, government, microfinance companies, all these put together. So that would be quite uh, you know dynamic work profile or work that you do on a daily basis. Is that so?
It it is. In fact, I miss that action in my life in the last six odd months that I have been now stationed at home,
Hmm.
working from. Uh, I think I used to travel every 15 or 17 days out in a month. I was out
Okay.
Indore, Bhopal, Mumbai, Philippines, Ethiopia. Wherever your work takes, it is such a dynamic profile, at least that I have got,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
That keeps on toes. That you have to actually go and see the impact that you talked about. Where is that impact happening? Is the organization that is saying that, okay, we have achieved this, has it actually happened? Can you
Right.
make the process even better? Right? So you go and watch the people in the field, you meet the organizations, you meet the end beneficiary also. How many people took a loan? Do you actually go and see the asset that they have built, right?
Hmm.
Conversate them to their next set of problems. So okay, so this guy has taken a loan for a sanitation asset. This guy has also taken a piped water connection. But where does he store the water? How does he
Hmm.
filter his water, right? So there
Hmm.
is a next thing that you can convince now the company which gives those loans. Hey, why didn't you give loans for this? Because there's a definite demand out there. So that is the kind of consulting that you also end up doing with the MFIs, or sorry, or the financial institutions that you work
Hmm.
for.
Hmm. Hmm.
The problem understanding and breaking that you do with your end consumers, and then you end up talking to the grant makers sitting
Correct.
in US, saying that what we are doing this work, but if you're willing to travel some more distance, would you be interested in doing something like this,
Hmm.
right? Or that no, I asked you to do this, why are you doing this? So you have to convince them that this is why it is happening. At times you
Correct.
listen,
Correct.
at
Correct.
times you listen. That is how. Yes, so it is dynamic. I love it. I
Abhishek, I
love it.
believe
No one talks.
you're doing great amount of work there, and great amount of work, and the great kind of work also. So that's
it,
something
it,
which.
it gives me satisfaction that end of the day I'm able to bring a positive impact into someone's life, right? I think there is no better takeaway from there. The what do you call take home, right?
Hmm.
So my take is honestly, right? I'm not saying that I'm a charitable person just because I'm
Hmm.
working in development sector. Development sector, if you're working in the right set of organizations, especially the international NGOs, you get
Hmm.
paid well, right?
Correct. Correct.
But to be honest, you get paid well, and therefore you don't think about your take home. Your take home is the happiness, is the positive change that your work gives you the opportunity to bring into people's lives. I think that is the take home that no one can take you away from.
Super. So since you're
Yeah.
talking great things about your work and the kind of organization and the sector per se, uh,
Mhm.
what uh, considerations do you keep in mind when you are hiring someone new? Like, I believe you would have hired an MBA as well,
Oh yeah,
not
yeah.
not just
Yes,
in water technology, but otherwise also. What do
absolutely. I think
you
I've hired.
see?
I've fired more than I've hired. Sorry, I know I've got a lot of bloods on my hands, but yes, yeah.
So uh,
Sorry, I
I'll
interrupted.
I'll bring the conversation back to MBA. What is it that you see in a new entrant? I'll not call a person who's in an MBA as a student anymore, right? A new entrant in the industry. What do you see
Mhm.
as somebody who is hiring?
I think so that the first and foremost. So for what happens is that I understand two things. One is that as a hiring person, right? Uh, you're trying to look someone, right, who is in your mold, sort of,
Hmm.
right? Sort of. I'm not. You cannot have a replica of yours, because else the work will not happen. It will just be a status quo, right?
Hmm.
What I'm trying to say is that the values that you appreciate in life, you're
Hmm.
trying to find that into that other into the person who's standing or sitting on the other, not standing, is sitting on the other side of the table. Excuse me. And the values that I appreciate into, or that I look into anyone who, even if it's a fresher
Hmm.
or a late, first thing is the attitude, right? The
Okay.
attitude to make it happen. That is it, right? the,
Hmm.
the first thing, right? So, what, and that you come to know about, how do you test that. So you go and ask about that, tell me the time when you were actually pushed to the extreme, to its extreme, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
uh, what did you do when something didn't work out in your life, right? What happened,
Hmm.
right? Well, you must have done so many things. What is the thing that did not work out in life, and what did you
Hmm.
learn from it? Question like this, you don't ask that, okay, tell me, do you think that you can do this? I said, everyone said, yeah, I'll do that, right?
Absolutely.
uh, but yes, the first thing that I look in is the attitude to make things happen. The second thing, and the most important thing after attitude is, I think, yeah, it's a tussle, which one do you bring first, but I would
Hmm.
pick up the next thing the first, and that is the person is ethical, right? The person will
Okay.
not take short the person will not take shortcuts, which come at the cost of the either the personal values, right, that one must have,
Hmm.
or the organization. I think that's first. Sorry, I said attitude first,
So how
but that's
does
what.
one, so sorry to cut you in. How does one come
Mhm,
across as an ethical
mhm,
person, even when not asked a question? Because many times a company need not ask a question directly, but
mhm.
these days the question of being ethical from the company's perspective is also increasing. Keeping in mind,
Yeah,
all the data frauds,
absolutely.
etc., that is happening, and the corporate governance, it's increasing. Companies are a lot
Mhm.
more, I would say, cautious of keeping people who are ethical.
Yes.
How do you come across as somebody like that?
It's simple. You create a case out there, right? So therefore,
Okay.
hiring a person is just not tell me something about yourself. Where do you see
Hmm.
5 years from the line? What is a package that you want? What if I give? No, it's not that. It's not. Unfortunately, hiring has evolved so much that, right.
True.
Whereas you might not be an exact HR manager, but since you lead your vertical of what you're doing, so therefore you are there doing the hiring, but also with the support of the HR manager out there. So it has evolved a lot. What you do is that you present a case that, you either something that has already happened in the organizations, or that has happened previous in some other organization. You bring that, and then put that person in the center of the affair, and say that, how would you deal with this situation? Not that what would you do, how would you deal with this situation, right?
Hmm.
What will you say, right? Because if you just leave it that, what would you do, and therefore you say, you will just choose the so-called holy path, that no,
Correct.
I'll meto SI. No, you
Hmm.
ask, what will you talk to whom,
Hmm.
right? And therefore, so you do a sort of role play come case study out there, wherein, so then say, okay, imagine I'm that person, right, who has
Hmm.
asked
Hmm.
you to give false bill. Why? Because he has always been good to you, but this time, because the accounts has not cleared the money, but he still needs the deliverables. What do you just say? So that is the kind of, so you put yourself in the shoes. Then you suddenly become his hiring manager. You become his junior. Everything. So you put that person into multiple scenarios and see how that person. And because you cannot keep on at multiple layers. Probably at superficially you can make it, you can
Hmm.
fake it,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
but go
Not
deep
at all
down, you go
levels.
layer, right? Right.
Correct.
Not at all levels, because that original you will suddenly come out, right? Where are you trying to make a shortcut? I'm not against people who make efficient
Hmm.
processes more efficient, but taking a shortcut at the cost of ethics and moral values is a strict no. Is a strict no, no matter
I
what.
believe
He might she
because
be the brilliant
correct,
person. Sorry.
because of the companies, uh, and the people like you who are talking about these kind of questions, I believe even a lot of MBA colleges have also gotten into this mold of asking questions about ethics and even role plays, etc. Right? So I
Oh,
believe
definitely. Why
it's
not?
from the industry itself.
So I would say that, and I know any purist B school dean who would listen to this, or if she or he watches this, will probably try to find my address and come to kill me. But I believe if you just look at the at how economics works, right, is that a B school is a supplier of qualified labor,
True.
right? It's a supplier of qualified labor. Now, I know B school will not try to relate with this, but unfortunately, I'm seeing it from a 60,000 feet view, a satellite view, and that's what I
Hmm.
see
Hmm.
happening. That a B school is supplier of qualified labor. Now, what the industry demands. Okay,
Hmm.
so if the industry demands are changing, therefore a B school should also be evolving. The kind of people
Correct.
there, and therefore
True.
you see
True.
that happening. You see that happening, but no one will accept that. That organizations today are promoting more pluralism, right,
Hmm.
into their hires. They want a heterogeneous structure. They want different ethnicities, different genders, represent effective gender representation. Why do you see suddenly that the B school have started, laying stress on more gender diversity? Why? Because it's end
Correct.
of the day, that's what is being outside. Right?
True.
It's not
True.
just
True. True.
मेरे को खाना है, नहीं नहीं मेरे को ये gender इतना percent रखना है. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that,
Hmm.
right? And therefore, you see some new specializations coming up. It's not the B school suddenly who thinks, right?
Correct.
It's the industry which demands that kind of a specialized function, and therefore there's a B school.
True. True. Okay. So when we are talking about, and I'll just like we are just heading towards the end of this amazing discussion. Uh, when you talk about hiring people in the development sector per se, uh,
Mm-hmm.
are
Mm-hmm.
there certain colleges that you have in mind? Like, why am I asking this question? Is because there are a lot of students who would be wanting to go to different colleges, and maybe after listening
True.
to this conversation, they would have a lot more interest now, right? So, what
Yes.
colleges would
They
you
should.
suggest? What colleges would you suggest that they should opt for uh, if they want to get into this? Like, technically, I'm asking you, how does one enter this field as an
um,
MBA?
un- okay. Unfortunately, the answers are there in the open, right? I would just be subscribing to what is already known. So
Coming
we
from
know
the
that
horse's
there
mouth, it makes it a lot more credible. Otherwise, it becomes more of an
Oh,
ad.
definitely. Okay. So there is definitely at the top. This is me, right? This is
Hmm.
Abhishek Anand talking about. Not this doesn't mean this is the general perception, but
Hmm.
I believe from IRMA, right? When it
Okay.
comes, they are totally prepared for this kind of work. Oh, they are amazing. Their
Hmm.
clarity, their work, their work attitude towards work,
Hmm.
taking up work, and at least slogging it out in the field when it requires. In your beginning years, I think IRMA stands tall.
Okay.
Neck to neck, that would be TIS. And believe you me, I'm not suggesting these colleges with the kind of packages that these people draw. No, I'm
Hmm.
not at all. That is a factor that I put into there. I'm talking. You asked me about the suitability, right?
True.
So
True.
that is what I'm. So that's from where it is coming. So the other college which is neck to neck with IRMA would be TIS, right?
Okay.
Some right. And since you're talking my opinions about it, somewhat polished, then the most of the Irmans. Not saying that Irmans are not polished, but if you just make a comparison,
Hmm.
अच्छा मैं किधर जाऊँ? So yeah, so there is this, but as I talked, work attitude is amazing there at IRMA.
Hmm.
The other colleges are, so I think this last year I hired some people from SEPT. Uh,
Okay.
SEPT University. It's a government of India university. It's just
Okay.
near to Ahmedabad
Okay.
in Ahmedabad. So I hired some people from there, and they're phenomenal. I think
Okay.
it was a revelation to me, right? Because I used to have from TIS, right? TIS,
Hmm. Hmm.
not campus, because TIS has also got a campus in Tuljapur, where they
Okay.
have got a
Okay.
1 year diploma program in in WASH, so that is water sanitation and hygiene. So I had from there.
Hmm.
SEPT was an instant hit. I've got a couple of hires from IRMA as well. So yeah, these three colleges, they are there. Then there are other colleges also, which unfortunately I've not been able to hire, but doesn't mean that
Hmm. Hmm.
people
Hmm.
there are not good. And whenever I get a chance, I would definitely like to expand the bouquet of people who come in. That is, I think there is a college in Jaipur, NIAM, National Institute of Agriculture Management.
So
Yeah.
in that
Uh,
stride, I'm Ahmedabad, their ABM course or
Mm.
Lucknow, do they also
Mm.
provide good people for the industry, or how is it?
They do. So, since again, this is a personal conversation that is happening, and this is for people to know. I don't take pride into saying this, but for a state consultant, right? So I was hiring for a person who was about to handle the entire state operations for Madhya
Mm-hmm.
Pradesh for me. Uh, this guy, the one person sitting in front of me, well, I called him. I had a discussion on the phone. He was from Ahmedabad, working with the Swachh Bharat mission.
Okay.
Amazing clarity of thought, fantastic, right? I said, well, fine. So that's what you hear the legends, and they are here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I interviewed this guy also. So he was also good, right? Polished, but not in that league of what the other
Okay.
person was, right? But when I brought them to the table, right, when
Okay.
we asked them to come fly down to Delhi, and when they were sitting, uh, my boss, I was sitting with my boss as well. So every time this should I be saying this? I don't know, but yeah, but
You can
what
choose your words.
what I should say is that yes, when it came to the field execution, the experience of executing things on field, the disc guy really shone, right? He
Okay.
he 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 really showed his way. He really showed his mettle that what are the kind of problems that he has solved. Again, it's about solving problems, right? So how
Mm-hmm.
many and what kind of problems have you solved before, right? What
Correct.
did you do?
Correct.
What were the
Correct.
kind of
Correct.
challenges you faced? So once you're able to answer those questions with your experience, right, with
Mm-hmm.
your vision, then you know that you made the cut, irrespective from which college have you studied, right?
Great, great insight, great insight. And we have had a long discussion, and I'd like to end the conversation here
Mhm.
because I have taken a lot of time of yours, and since you said that
Oh, it
tomorrow is
was
your
pleasant
uh,
connecting with you, Siddharth.
okay, so
To be honest, I've taken a leave tomorrow because I need to prepare that report for no matter. So this is what happens. You take a leave, why? To work.
okay, so it was great talking to you, Abhishek, and I believe
Same as Siddharth.
all those who are watching this would not just enjoy the entire journey that you have had, and they also would want to be there, but there would be a lot of learning about their immediate steps that they are going to take. And I'll once again thank you for the time that you have
Thank you,
given
Siddharth.
for us.
No, Siddharth, it was pleasure connecting with you, and I hope I was able to bring in some bit of sanity to this insane world that awaits people who are just on that verge, on that boundary of MBA, no MBA, MBA, what after MBA. I hope I was able to bring in some respite to their confusion. Great
I'm
talking
sure
to
you
you.
have. I'm sure you have. So and we would like to have you come once again sometime in the future if time permits there with you. So
Or other people like it.
okay, fine. So thanks a lot, Abhishek. And
Yeah, yeah.
with this, I like to just say stay safe and all the best in your
Thank you,
future
Siddharth.
endeavors.
You too.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Have a
Bye
safe
bye. Take care.
night. Bye bye. Take care.